in the last video where I talked about Sheridan Design Made Easy. I drew up the pattern for this particular wooden plaque. Now you can get these at Walmart. I showed you guys these and the other set. You can buy these little plaques at Walmart. So now I sanded down. I've been sanding all morning today, so I'm a little bit sand dusty. But I got this down as low. I couldn't remove the marks, but I did get the high rises out of it where the wood burner burned into the wood. So it's all nice and even now. But I did completely get all the marks off of the back. But if you guys look very closely, you will see where I took my wing dividers. Now these are not just good for leather. These things, now these wing dividers, and I keep coming back to these. These are welder wing dividers. They are $1.99 at Harbor Freight. You guys want to go get you a pair of these. Now, why is that? In leather, as it works to leather, now it does have a pencil attachment where if you want to put a pencil in there, you can. But this, in the leather world, what I found out is this works very well to, it gives you a scratch owl. It works like a scratch owl. AWL, a scratch owl. But it also is hard enough to where, just in case if you guys decide to go into this route with your leather crafting, it is hard enough, or because it's metal, it did leave a good borderline around this soft poplar wood. And that's poplar, Poplar. Now you can get these, again, you can get these at Wally World. I think they were less than $2. They might have been 97 cents a piece, because this is in the craft department at Walmart. Now you probably can get these at Michael's, Joann's, or any craft store that's in your city or your area. But I definitely know if you don't have a Joann's, a Michael's, a Hobby Lobby, or anything like that. Now Hobby Lobby is going to be expensive. So you guys know my motto already. Minimize your spending on the front end to maximize the profits on the back. This is just to catch you up. Trimmed it out on the poster board. Then I came back and took my same wing dividers. Once I got it taped and cut out, I took my wing dividers the same distance as my wood, and then I went around this poster board and then I trimmed it down again. So now what happens is, and I've been checking, you can test this. Make sure you get the top side top and the bottom side bottom. But as you can see, it has a nice wood edge around the outside. That's what we want. And it covered up those burned wood, burned roses that was into the wood. So now this is the ideal size. So everything is going to work out perfect. So what I'm going to do now is take my leather, put this onto the leather, and then cut it out, cut the leather out, get it taped and prepped, and then we're going to start carving our design into that. So the next part you'll see, we'll be prepped and ready to start getting ready to trim out our pattern, trace our pattern onto the leather. All right, family, this is where we are right now. I didn't have enough tracing film to completely cover my artwork. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys an economical way when you don't have tracing film, what you can do to transfer your pattern from here to your leather. All right, family, this is where we are right now. I didn't have enough tracing film to completely cover my artwork. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys an economical way when you don't have tracing film, what you can do to transfer your pattern from here to your leather. Now, the first thing that you want to do is, first thing you should understand is doing it this way will completely ruin this pattern that you drew on your paper. So if you do it this way, you cannot use this drawing again because the paper will not be able to hold up to another transfer. So, but to simply do this, you'll take some clear packaging tape, and this works on whatever artwork, even if you're downloading artwork, and if you're not drawing it yourself, you're downloading artwork. Get you some clear packaging tape and lay you some strips out over the top of your artwork. And you want to just cover the artwork that's the transfer. That's why my ball stylus, and lay this onto my pattern. I will lay this onto my leather, and then I'm going to take the ball stylus and trace over every piece of this. Now again, once you do this, you cannot transfer it onto another piece of leather again, because when you're rolling that ball stylus over your artwork, it's going to basically ruin the backside of the paper. So, and then you want to make sure that all of your tape is going one way, and you will have to draw or trace that pattern out all the same way. So I laid this line first, and then I put tape on top of each one going down. So I'm going to have to draw all the way down, so that way when my stylus hits another piece of tape, it's just going to roll right over the top of it. If you trace back the reverse way, it's going to start lifting up your tape, and then you're just going to just cut through the paper, and then it's going to make a mark that's unwanted. So just be careful knowing that you can do it this way, but once you do it, it's going to be a wrap. Now, so what I'm going to do here is line this up like it's supposed to be. Actually, I think what I'm going to do is take my scissors and get it all lined up on one end, so that way I know it will be centered in the way that I want it to be. Now, but before I do that, what I also did here was into these peaks, into these little points right here, I took my wing divider, and then I made a little dimple in here. Now the purpose for this dimple is to make sure that when I'm scribing my border line inside of here, I don't go too far and make that point an odd shape. So I want to go right into the point, make a little dimple all the way around this piece. So let's get to doing that right now. And this is scribing the border line inside of that. Now this is I'm only going to come out about maybe 1/8 of an inch from the inside border line, and we're going to do the exact same thing. So I'm going to take this, put my dimple there, put a little dimple there. Now let's spread this out a little more, because I'm seeing a different border now. Well, I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and transfer my film, because this is why. Look, if you look at the artwork, right? If you look at the artwork, you see where this border line is going into the flower here? I want that to be natural onto the leather as well. I want that to reflect into the leather. So if I go ahead and do that interior border line, what it's going to do is draw a line through my scroll, and I don't want that to happen. So I want to go ahead and transfer my pattern onto the leather, and then once I get the pattern transferred, then I will come back and finish that scroll, because finish that interior borderline, because I can stop at that scroll and then skip over that and then draw all the way around. And wherever else it might touch some artwork, I can stop that borderline. So let me show you guys really how we're going to do this. But let me first grab the scissors and trim this up. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, what I did, I went ahead and just prepped this and show you guys what you will be looking at. But I went ahead and cut my pattern down to size. I went rounded it off and got this inside of the interior border, so I'm missing the first border line that I drew. Now, however, and this is the one thing that you will see the advantages of transfer film. The problem that I ran into, this leaf here, if you guys follow this line, this leaf that I drawn here is going to be way up and off of my leather pattern. So I'm going to have to reshift this leaf the opposite way to where it can get more onto the leather inside of the pattern. So you will just have to remember in your artwork when you're transferring and you want to make this fit. So I'm going to trace everything else out except this leaf, and then I'll go back and take my leaf template, and then I'll turn that a different way and then just draw it onto the leather and finish it off that way. So let's get started. And meet that. Now we're going to check this again to make sure. That's a great. Now, this is where that flower was, I mean that leaf. So what I'm going to do is turn this leaf back this way and get it out, because it was all the way up here. So I'm going to turn the leaf back the opposite direction and then just freehand draw that in there. But so far, ladies and gentlemen, everything looks great. Everything looks good. Everything looks good. All of the lines, and that leaf right there is touching that border. So when I get ready to put my other scribe line in there, I'm going to stop here and skip this leaf and go to the other side. Great, 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 great. All right, so let's go ahead and pull this on off. Great transferring. Now the back side of this paper, and you guys can't feel it, but I can. The back side of this paper is wet from the casing. You need to case the leather so it can take the pattern, it can accept the pattern. So is this an economical way when you don't have tracing film, but you can transfer any pattern. So don't be dismayed that, oh man, I don't have any tracing film, so you can't do the transfer. You can. All you need is packaging tape, and you can buy packaging tape, Dollar Tree. You can get that, your packaging tape, as well as your masking tape or painter's tape. Get that stuff from Dollar Tree. Now, it's not going to do you any good for taping boxes or shipping stuff, but it's because the residue is, and I left a little residue right here, so we got to make sure that I get all of that little off. But the painter's tape is ideal, and I use masking tape, but painter's tape is ideal because you can, we just take a little eraser and get that adhesive off. It's just enough to just put a little adhesion on there. So let's go and find that leaf, get the leaf out of the bag, and then we're going to put this leaf in a different direction, and then we'll get right into carving. So I've gotten my flower, my leaf. I don't know why I keep calling that a flower. I'm going to go ahead here and grab my leaf. So let me just go this one here, and I like this one because there we go. And you just want to line this up with the flow of your pattern, right? So let's get this. Stopped, and then so this bud will appear to be in front of the leaf. Now that we are there, now I'm going to come right back with my scribe, my wing dividers, and I'm going to come right inside of that and start to scribe, borderline, finish this borderline out. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let me show you what we're working with. This is what we are looking for. The pattern is out. And you see how we went right to the edge of that? Went right to the edge, stopped, and then it cut a small little sliver of the border there, but then it came right on out. And it stopped, skip that. So you don't want to draw your borderline into your artwork. It just take away from it, especially when you start cutting this with your swivel knife. But this is the basis of it. And then right up here where we put that leaf, it stopped right there. So the effect of it, and when we start bordering, backgrounding this, the effect is going to be, it's going to have that 3D motion that the artwork is in front of everything else. That's where we're going to start doing all of the backgrounding and tooling work at. And that's what's just going to turn this into a phenomenal art piece. Now, the greatest part, now the only thing that's left to do here is what are we going to put in this space here? Now, I am going to do that nice basket weave pattern right here. So we got to figure out a way to borderline this part out to where it will all stay symmetrical and just look all nice and neat, which we will get to that point. But first, let's get to carving out our pattern. Now you want to go in Harbor Freight back to where they have the grinders and the sandpaper and all of that stuff at. And you can buy you a huge tube of this. And then as you need it, you can just break off chunks. You see what I'm saying? But it comes in a big tube like this, and they come in varied colors based on what particular blades you're using. You want to go with your finest polish, which is the white and the gray. So, but just stick with the white, like I do. Stick with the white, and it's going to tell you exactly what it is. And this is that Harbor Freight, and it's for fine polishing your blades. Works good even on the metal blade. Once you get your metal blade sharp, then you can just strop it with the white, and you're good to go. So let's go and put another coat on our scrap piece of leather, and you'll see it turning back white. This is how you know you're getting it on there. This is the same thing that those old barbers used to do when they had that strap on the side of the chair, and they'll take that straight razor and just go to, that blade is already sharp. They're just making a keen edge. So when they shave you, you get that up close shave. It works the exact same way here. 1, 2, 3, flip the blade over. 1, 2, 3. And that's all we're going to use to polish this. Now, 3 or 4 cuts, and then we'll restrop, right? Okay, good deal. Now let's get into cutting this. beautiful. And this is what you should be having and looking like right now. Just like that. This is going. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is where it gets fun. Remember when I told you we'll be using a lot of tools? We're going to be using all of these tools, plus one special tool that you probably would have never, ever guessed that a leather crafter would use. But I'm going to show you that tool in a second, this one here. But we're going to be using these tools, which is pretty much, this is the cedar tool that I was telling you guys about. Let me see if I can get a good angle on this. This is the cedar tool that I'm going to use inside of that flower. And I'm going to show you how we use that. Now, let me give you the numbers off of these so you guys will know. This is all of these tools are Tandy. This is J547. J547. This is called a cedar tool, or just a little floral pattern tool. But it's going to have the appearance of the seedlets in the inside of that flower once it opens and blooms. We're also going to be using our camouflage tool. This one is camouflage 4333. Camouflage 4333. C433. I'm also going to be using my angled checkered beveler. The angled checkered beveler. And this is B802. B802. I'm going to probably use this one first. Not going to use that one. I'm going to be using my steep beveler. This is B200. B200. Now, to draw the question before you even ask the question, why are you using two steep bevelers, one smooth and one checkered? One is going inside of the scrolls and the other one is going outside the scrolls. So basically I'm going to do all of the outside border work with the checkered beveler. Outside of the work. Inside of the work, I'll be using the smooth beveler. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so here we are. And now I brought two cedars just in case that I might change my mind. Or this one is J615. Now, I bought this tool from U.S. Stamps. I don't even know if they're still in business anymore, but this is an old one. And actually, I bought this one after I bought this one because, if you guys can see, is the metal was really soft. I can't even remember where this company is, but when your tools start to warping like this, sometimes cheap is not always the best to go. That's just basically what I'm saying. But I like the pattern on that, depending on what flower that I use to carve. But then I wind up going right back to Tandy and got this one. It's just a round one, but you can see the little seed buds that's in the inside of that one. So we're going to be using that. Going to be using the camouflage, the checkered steep smooth beveler. Now this is called a stop stamp. Now this works right inside of the scrolls where your buds, when your buds go down, right there at its stop at the bottom, this stamp is used to go, or this tool is used to go right there at that stop. That's why they call it a stop stamp. Just to show you what that is. Cool. And then this one also makes some other cool shapes and design that you can, I'll do another video on that one later. But it's not just for the stop in Sheridan Design. You can also use that to do other designs. Now, we're also going to use a mule's foot. This is called a mule's foot. Great tool to use. I'm going to show you how we're going to use that one. Then I have my pear-shaped checkered backgrounding tool. We'll use this. And then also have the oval shape one. Same pattern, just a different shape. Is bigger. So this one covers more area, but this one gets right inside as it gets close up to the veins, or well, not the veins, but close up to the scrolls into your floral pattern. So right there in that V shape where the bud starts to roll back over, you can use that point of the pear to get right down into that crack, that V right there. And especially when you get inside of your floral pattern. So you can use it there and use that cool. Then we just have a smaller pear shape to really get inside of the artwork. Another steep, smooth beveler, but is smaller. You guys can see that. Smaller head. So it gets really tight into these small spaces, these tools. Now, that's one thing to keep in mind when you're doing Sheridan. You will be buying a lot of small head tools to use into that. Don't know why I grabbed that one. Now this is another triangular smooth beveler to get inside of those small tight places. To get inside of there. Another pear shape. I got two of those. Don't need that cedar there. Now this is a small camouflage tool here. This is Camouflage 709. You guys might have heard me talk about this in another video, but I'm going to show you how we're going to use these camouflaging tools here. And I already got a mule's foot already over here. So I don't know why I bought two mule's foot. And these two here. Now these are my thumbnails. And I'm going to show you guys how we use these thumbnails. And I got both sides, the medium and the small one. And we're going to show you how we work those. So as I'm doing the stamping work, I'll be calling out what tools I am using. When we get ready to do that. But first off, I'm going to be using the checkered backgrounder, the checkered steep backgrounder. This is the very first one. And this is B backgrounder 802. This is for backgrounding 802. And Now you guys were wondering about the tip top of this flower here. You see, I didn't tool all the way through my border. I just went straight to the border and stopped. But what I'm going to do is use my smooth beveler, my steep smooth beveler, and then I'm going to tool around this line right here. So you won't see that border checkered, checkered background border like this going up into the borderline. You're going to see a smooth transition in there, and then I'm going to come right back with the deep checkered beveler and then come right back and finish this off because I want that to be dark. So let me do. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is what we have so far. You see how it's already having that raised look up off of the leather. And this is just in backgrounding. So I'm gonna stamp my logo or my maker's mark here to identify the artwork. It's kind of like a regular artist on a painting. They will put their signature or their mark there. But now we still have a good ways to go. I'm going to do some smooth beveling. But let me show you guys something real quick with the thumbnail stamps. These two here. Now you To split those. I'm going to go back in and background that and knock this down. So let's take our small pear shader. And we're just going to background this part right here. Okay. See, now we're starting to separate the backgrounding from everything else. Okay. Now this is where you don't want to get lost in your artwork. This scroll here is going down into this stalk. So you don't want to make a mistake in background this, because that's that stalk there. So that's why it's very key that you want to stay within your drawings. And so I'm just going to fill in this. Done. Using that again, using that again. All right. So now right here where this blade of leaf is folded over, we're going to smooth bevel inside of this. So now we are back with the B200. The B200, that's the one that we're using now. So we're going to just do some smooth beveling inside of this leaf here. And then it's about time to case this again. Now, why did I go with the smooth beveler? The smooth beveler, is going to, is working like a the modeling spoon, but I want to show that separation, that the fold is coming over. So this is why I went with the smooth one instead of the checkered background or the checkered beveler or anything like that, because I wanted to burnish smooth, but I wanted to show that this is a fold. So when you're looking at that, when you're looking at that, it looks like that leaf is folding over on top of itself. All right, family. So here we are. Now, I went ahead and recased my leather. So we got this a little moist. Now I'm going to go back in and background all of this open space here to go ahead and define, or not redefine, but to define that 3D and pull the artwork more off of my canvas. I guess you could say we can call this a canvas because we're going to treat this like artwork. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this out, background all of this, and then we'll start doing all of our beauty cuts as well as doing some finishing tooling work using the veiners and the mule's foot and other tools like that. So you guys stay right here. I'm going to angle this camera down and we'll get started. So you guys can going to use the small backgrounder and the little bit larger one. And I'm also going to use, well, I'll be using these three here. To get into those tight corners of the artwork, we'll go to use the small ones to get right into those tightness where the scrolls are starting to go down into the stalk. And then we'll use this one to get more or less around the leaves area. And then we'll finally finish it up with the larger one so we can cover more area and get it done a little bit faster. Go so many different directions if you wanted to. Now let me show you guys this. This is how it's going to look. And this is just the background and work. Now this is going to take a different color effect again when I get ready to antique it. So now where we are is I'm at the stage to where I'm going to start doing my beauty cuts as well as some enhanced tooling work with the different viners and tools. So let's keep on rolling. Now I'm going to take my steep smooth beveler. This is the craft tool, Tandy. And this is B200 craft tool from Tandy. And now I'm going to raise up the veins or the stem. I'm going to raise up the stem on these leaves. To the pear-shaped backgrounder. This is the medium size one, A118. A118. And now I'm going This is where we are, ladies and gentlemen. See, we just background the inside of those, and we stayed with the flow. Now let's go ahead and get our cedar. I like this one better. Even though it's bent, I still use it even though it's bent. Now what's going to go with this cedar is I'm going to go right here in the center of my flower and really put a print right there. Just went right into the center of the flower. That's what the cedar tool does. And now let's go and grab our swivel knife. Actually, let's get the veiner first. We're gonna go with the, okay, so I'm gonna need my muse foot and my camouflage tools and the muse foot. Okay, I got the muse foot and the veiner. So the veiner is here. I'm gonna use this one. And get all of my tools that I don't need out the way. And here's the muse foot, camouflage medium size, and the camouflage small. Okay, I think I already gave you guys those numbers, so I'm not going to give it to you again. Now I'm going to take this muse foot and I'm going to turn it upside down and come down to where my stop, where I use my stop stamp, and I'm just going to barely tap it going up the stalk, right? I'm going to put the point right inside of my cut, and I'm just, there it is. No, that's not it. There it is right there. put one here. Take my mule's foot and just go right up this leaf stem. So, and we are there. That's how that mule's foot work. Just going right up the stalk, right? Now I'm going to take my steep beveler. I'm going to take the smooth steep beveler. And right here on my scrolls, I'm going to bevel the back side of the scroll. Go on the back side of each one, just to use the steep, smooth beveler. All right. Now we are getting to, let me find that veiner. There it is. Now the veiner is going into the leaves. Okay, I switched this out. I'm gonna go to a small veiner, and then the medium size one. It's a different style. It doesn't have that little hip in the, or that little cutout in the center. It's just all the way across the veiner tool. And this one here has a little bit higher arch, and I'm going to show you why I'm going to use these two together. This is V4112 or 412 and V405. 405 is a small one. 412 is the medium size. V. V for veiner. And we also use the veiners on the back side of the scrolls. Now we're getting ready to go into our decorative cuts. So actually, before we do that, one more stamp tool. I'm going to come right back with my small thumbnail. And this is P215, P215. And what I'm going to use this tool for is to go into the petals of the flower. So right there where the flower loops, right here, and you guys will see that, I'm going to put a nice on top of itself. So I'm going to definitely bevel this. I'm going to get my small beveler and use that soon as I find it, there it is. This is the B995. B9, yeah, B, I can't tell if that's an 8 or a 9. B985. B985 is my small steep beveler. You can see how steep that is. Small steep beveler. Very, very small too, but it's going to get into this real tight part of this fold in the leaf. Like that. All of this is just raised that flower right up top of it. Nice, clean. Okay. Now we're at the point where we're getting ready to take our swivel knife and then just do some beauty cuts. And this thing is done. It's already done. Tool that I wanted to show you guys that I'm going to be using. Now this is a pedicure manicure tool. This is what they use inside of nail salons, and this pushes your cuticle back and all that kind of stuff, and get the dirt up under your nails and cut off any type of excess skin. But this is not a leather tool. It's a tool that they use in the nail industry. But I'm going to use this to make my beauty cut. It's not going to cut it like my swivel knife is, but it's going to get the effect that I want it to have. So let's get right into this. But can you see those into the flower? These are just little beauty cuts or accent cuts. So now at this particular point, what I am ready to do now is to get ready to tool out my basket weave. But first, before I do that, let me put my maker's mark in here. Now I'm going to hide my maker's mark into the backgrounding here, this part. You guys can see. Now it's all matted in there, but my maker's mark is impressed into that, so onto the piece. So we're just about done. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw my basket weave pattern. I'm going to come with a diagonal. I'm just going to give a light scribe, a light drawing here. This is my baseline. So all I did was went from corner to corner. Just an estimate for real, for real. And I'm going to space these out 1 inch apart from each other. So I'm going to put my line in the center there, and then I know just how far to draw this. So as of right now, you should be looking just like this. Now I'm going to go ahead and case this and get ready to start beveling. So first thing that you want to figure out when doing this basket weaving pattern is you want to find out which one is going under. So if I'm going here, but if I start here, right here in the inside, actually that's too close. So I'm going to use this one here. So this one is going to be beveled down, and this one is going to be beveled down. So every other one you're going to bevel both sides of the line, because that's showing that it's going under this one and under, it's going under this one, over this one, under, over, under, over, under. So when you start this, I'm going to start right here and tool this one, bevel this one going down. This is where we are. We've already applied the 3 coats of Resin on there. I decided to do. Hey, what's happening, family? This is the last of the last. You guys are about ready to see the finished product. I didn't want you guys to sit here and watch me glue this to the plaque, but I went ahead and finished it off. We now have a contact cemented to the plaque, so you guys can see that. And what I'm going to do now is put this in between 2 presses to make sure that it gets a nice even flat. I didn't want to take the roller and do it because I didn't want to do any type of other additional pressing down on the leather because it's already been oiled and tanned. I decided not to go with the antique gel because of the color that the oil and the super sheen left it. So I want to leave it just as natural. But let me angle this down so you guys can see how this is going to sit. This is the leather tray that we made for that to fit in, and it sits just like that. Sits just like that, ladies and gentlemen.